Hello and good evening. Welcome to Bright Spots. My name is Lori Labishak and I am your happiness ambassador and your host for this evening. I hope you're having a good week. The weather has been somewhat unpredictable with storms this morning and mugginess and a little bit of overcast, but you know what? We are looking for the bright spots, right? I'd love to talk to you, those of you that are pet owners, dog owners in particular. Do your dogs get excited when there's a storm? Is that something that causes them some anxiety and some grief? So I have two dogs. I have two 13, 14-year-old dogs. One is a basset hound and one is a beagle. And my basset hound just gets very anxious when there is thunder and lightning and even just rain. And I'm wondering, for those of you that are out there that may have animals, what do you do when that happens? What do you do with the animals when they're anxious? So I may have found a remedy today. So this morning, as my dog was just very anxious because it had started raining, I remembered an article that I read that said if you turn on music in the room where the dog is, that it could help soothe them. So what kind of music would you turn on for the dog? So I got my boombox radio off of the front porch and I put it in the kitchen where our dogs stay when we're not at home. And I searched for a radio station. Guess what radio station we landed on that seemed to really relax our dog? It was jazz. I love it, right? Smooth jazz. When my husband came home from work today, he said the dogs were really chill. So I think we may have found a remedy for the anxiety that is caused when our dog, when it is raining outside and our poor little basset hound is just unhappy, right? So I would love to know what you all do. If you do have dogs that are anxious when it is storming or raining, and summertime, we're going to have that. There's going to be storms and we're going to have rain. So we know that, we've accepted that. And for the rest of his life, we will play jazz now, right? Okay, so we have a great show planned for you tonight. Our guest this evening is Alicia Freeman. Before I bring Alicia on, I would like to let you know that this past weekend, I built a website. The web URL is being scrolled right below here on the screen, and it is brightspotsov.com. And if you go to brightspotsov.com, you can see all of our guests, all 15 guests, our guests today. This is our 16th show. So our 16th guest will go up there tomorrow. But right now, you can see all 15 guests that have been on our show. You can view all 15 shows. You can read bios about each of our guests. And some even have contact information or website URLs where you can go and get more information. Keep in mind that I'm still building the site, so I will continue to add information to it. But I encourage you to go there. Again, it is brightspotsov.com. If you are tuning in, please drop a message below so that we know that you're here. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And if this is your first time tuning into Bright Spots, I'd love to know that too. If you're watching later and you're not watching the live broadcast, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. We're so glad that you are here. Please leave us a message. Let us know your thoughts on today's show and Bright Spots in general. All right, without further ado, let's talk about our guest. So our guest today is Alicia Freeman of A Special Wish Ohio Valley Chapter. Focused, determined, and passionate, results driven. Those are just a few words that describe this strong professional woman that I love calling my friend. From coaching high school sports to working in the marketing industry for over 13 years, to becoming the executive director of a nonprofit organization, Alicia has learned so much from her hands-on experience and from the connections that she's made along the way. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your virtual hands together for Miss Alicia Freeman.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
Welcome, welcome. All right, we have a first time viewer, Candy. Welcome, Miss Candy. We love
Hi,
to have
Candy.
you. Thank you for being here. That's how it's done, folks. You see Candy's message there. We would love for you to leave us a message. Let us know that you're here. We want to hear from you. So, Alicia, for everyone in our audience who does not know who you are, and there's probably not very many because you are so well known in the Ohio Valley, everybody knows Alicia Freeman, right? But tell us, who are you? What makes you tick? Are you married? Do you have pets? Let us hear about who Alicia Freeman is and what you're passionate about.
Well, first, hi, Lori, and hi, everyone out there. Thank you so much for joining. I would say, I just want to start by saying the answer to your question about what I would play for my dog, because I do have a dog, and her name is Hoya. I love her. She's 4 years old. I would definitely play music. One out there knows I listen to a lot of gospel music, which really kind of gets me going in the morning, in the afternoon, whenever I can put it on. But besides the fact about all the gospel music I listen to, I was born and raised in St. Clairsville, Ohio. I love St. Clairsville. I graduated from St. Clairsville High School. I have two sisters, one who lives in Maryland and one who lives in Texas. I have one brother who lives in St. Clairsville. And see, wow, there's not much to tell about me. I graduated from college, which I'm super excited about. Candy, my very good friends. So I'm so excited that she could join me, and we actually met at Bethany. And I played basketball. I coached high school basketball. I coached middle school basketball. My first job out of college, and I said I would never work for a newspaper. My first job out of college was at the Times Leader. My second job, I said I would never, ever work for a bank. Never say never, because God has a different plan for you all the time. So I said I would never work for a bank. My second job out of college was in Washington, D.C. I worked for a government credit union. So I moved all the way to Washington, D.C. and lived there for a few years until September 11th happened. September 11th freaked me out like it did everyone else. So I decided to move back home to St. Clairsville. Everyone comes back home at some point. And I went back to the newspaper. And then opening in the marketing department at Savings. For those of you who are out there and remember Savings Bank, a marketing position opener, and that position. Since then, I've been in the industry for about 13 years till God another path. So that's me in a nutshell. Oh, I do want to say I am married and I have a dog. I have no children, which is why I think I do a lot with children, because I have my own and I can give all of the children back. So
Oh, I think that's great. And your puppy is your child, right?
very true. That's yes.
Yes. Yes. So we like to start, Bright Spots was born out of the stay-at-home order, the pandemic that hit us in March. Has the quarantine changed you? Has the COVID pandemic changed you? And if so, in what way, both personally and professionally? What did you experience during that period of time, especially initially when we were all told, that you had to stay home? You basically couldn't go out except for necessities. Tell us about that and what you experienced during that time.
Yeah, sure. Wow, great question. Right off the bat, you're tough, Lori. So it was hard to not hug someone. I am definitely a hugger, and I love to meet with people and meet new people. So for the couple of days, I was like, this is great. I don't want to get sick. I don't want the virus to spread. And I got to relax a little bit, because I do find myself getting involved in a lot of things, activities, events, that kind of stuff. And when the pandemic hit, I just kind of slowed. And for the first couple of days, I was like, this is great. I can rest, get some things done around the house. But 2 days later, I said, I need to get out of here and do something. So I was very fortunate that I'm the only person working in my office, so I could come into the office and get away for a while because I'm sure, like many others out there, I was not about being stuck at home. I had a time. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was not easy. And not seeing my parents, that was hard too. My parents live right behind me. Yes, I'm that girl. And they live right behind me, and it was hard not just walking across the yard to go see them. I got to call them every day and everything, but not seeing them was tough.
Yeah, so I'm a hugger too, as you know, and not being able to hug has been one of my biggest struggles. And my husband and I actually went to an event this past weekend. It was a graduation party for a dear, sweet family friend, and we did hug. And you almost feel guilty hugging, and getting back into that is going to feel very strange. I think it's like you hesitate. We never used to hesitate. We just hugged, right?
Yeah.
And today I had a meeting, and a gentleman that I just met, I went to shake his hand, and then I pulled my hand back and said, "Oh, we're not supposed to do that." So we bumped elbows, like we're supposed to do. And he said, "I wonder if this whole not being able to hug and not being able to shake hands, and if that's going to change the dynamics of social gatherings. Not just now as we're reopening, but moving forward. Are people going to be, and it's heartbreaking to think about that, because I don't want to hesitate to hug you when I see you.
Right.
So I want to embrace you and let you know that I care about you.
Right. Or even shake someone's hand. Or it's just very awkward. Yeah. Now when you meet someone, you're like, "Oh, do I shake your hand? We can't." Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So I do think that that's going to change. That's going to change the way social interaction happens as we move into a more open world. I'd like to welcome some people to the broadcast: Wendy, Donna, and Trudy. Donna is my mom. It feels really weird calling her Donna. So, Mom, welcome.
Oh, hi, Mom.
My dad is there too. So, welcome. They just drove in from Tennessee today. So, back home from Missouri. They made it in 2 days. So, glad you're home safe, Mom. And Trudy Wilson is the new manager at the Primetime Senior Center here at Trinity. So, real excited to have Trudy. Thank you for being in, and I'm glad that you're here. And of course, we know Wendy is with the Chamber. She was a former guest on Bright Spots, and Candy is our friend from the Ohio Valley Mall. And we're so glad you're here, ladies and folks. That's as easy as it is. Just drop your name in the comment section below. Let us know you're here. Let us know you're tuning in. You are tuning into Bright Spots, a weekly broadcast that highlights individuals and groups in the community who are shining their light in unique and wonderful ways. Tonight's guest is Alicia Freeman of A Special Wish, Ohio Valley. We are so glad to have you. And Jamie Yater just joined in. Great to see you, Jamie. Glad you are here. So, Alicia, my next question is, what was your biggest challenge outside of hugging? Let's talk about work. Did you transition to virtual meetings? Did you use technology more than you had used it in the past? How did business continue while you were staying at home?
Yeah, it was tough. So it's very important that when we are talking about a Special Wish Foundation, that I like to go and meet the individuals, the donor, the sponsor, whomever it might be. I like to go and meet them so they can really get a good feel of who we are, what we do, why it's important. And the best folks to tell the story about a Special Wish are the families that we've touched and blessed. And because of the virus and the pandemic, we weren't able to meet in person. And a lot of times we couldn't do the virtual meetings because they were very busy doing other meetings or their budgets were cut back. So it just made it very difficult for us to continue with our fundraisers. The good news about this whole thing is that we had reached out to our sponsors prior to everything being shut down. So we already had that secured and our sponsors in place. But don't get me wrong, we're always looking for sponsors. But it just, it made it a little bit more difficult. And then not only was the sponsorship affected, also when our events, we weren't able to have big fundraisers that we had in the spring. Those had to get postponed. So we do a favorite one of mine is our makeover contest that Candy and I had partnered with. We had Boscov's on board this year, and we were all super excited. Our previous partner, Macy's, they closed. So obviously we couldn't have them as a partner for the makeover contest, but Boscov's graciously stepped in, and Candy and I were super excited, as well as Boscov's, and then it just got shut down. And the whole good thing about the makeover contest was that we would pick, not us pick, but the community would choose 4 winners for a complete makeover. Very similar to that ambush makeover that you see on the Today Show or something like that. And Cloud9 got involved, and Joe's Tires, they were our sponsor this year. And then it just stopped. So we didn't get to give makeovers this year because of COVID. So it affected the fun things that we do. I hate to say it, everything I do is fun, Laurie.
So for folks who aren't familiar with a special wish, how about giving us an overview? How did it start? What is your mission? Kind of give us your elevator speech. If you were going to pitch us on supporting a Special Wish OV, what does that look like?
Okay, so before I give you the elevator speech, because there is a lot to tell, but I will bundle it into a nutshell. I do want to talk to you first about the history, briefly, of a Special Wish and how it got to the Ohio Valley. So the late great Dr. John Maddox brought a Special Wish to the Ohio Valley in 1992. What a lot of folks don't know is that a Special Wish was formed and incorporated before Make-A-Wish. We are not affiliated with Make-A-Wish. We are 2 separate organizations out for the same goal. So our organization, A Special Wish Foundation, was started in 1982 in Columbus, Ohio, by Ramona Fickle. And her daughter is actually still involved with a Special Wish Foundation, which is very exciting. But anywho, I get sidetracked a lot, so please stop me at any time if I get sidetracked. Anywho, brought to the Ohio Valley in 1992 by the late great Dr. John Maddox. Our goal is to grant wishes to children from birth up to the age of 21 with a life-threatening illness or disability. A lot of things are important in that statement. Number 1, we are the only wish-granting organization in the United States that will grant a wish of birth. The only one. That's very unique. We are also the largest wish-granting organization in the Ohio, and the 3rd largest wish-granting organization in the United States. So the only one to grant a wish at birth, we're the largest in the state of Ohio, which a lot of people don't know. Also, the good thing about us is that we are local. So every dollar donated to a Special Wish Foundation stays here in the Ohio Valley to grant a wish to a local child. We cover 8 counties, and we're going to talk about the website later, so I can point those out to you rather than take time up now to list all of those counties, but we cover 8 counties in the Ohio Valley, so 4 in Ohio, 4 in West Virginia. And there are 8 chapters total. We're the largest out of those 8 chapters in our organization. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer those. As of now, since I've been the director for 4.5 years, almost 5 years, and in my time period, we have granted 24 wishes, and we have 3 wishes. We have fulfilled 24 wishes. We have 3 wishes that are waiting. So those 3 wishes we were going to grant this year, meaning the families were going to take what we would call a big wish, like a trip to Disney or a trip to the beach. Most of those trips were to Disney World, or most of those wishes were to Disney World. We decided to let the families postpone those if they chose, and take their wish in 2021. So we're not really granting any wishes this year. They're not going to be fulfilled because of what's going on in the world. Who wants to go to Disney World now? I mean, that's not, yeah. So, any questions?
I want to go to Disney World. Maybe
it is a great place, but many wish families, when they do go to Disney, they stay, I think, is the best places in the world, which is called Give Kids the World. And with everything going on, Give Kids the World has also closed until further notice. So we can't even send them to that place. So after talking to those three families, we have decided to just postpone everything and wait until 2021. So they still get the full benefit, hopefully the full benefit of their wish.
I actually saw where Disney itself had reopened, and we're limiting the numbers of people and the way they were doing the rides and everything. They really, have they have it down to a science the way that they are doing it. And yeah. Candy is a Disney expert.
She is
quite frequently, and she said that there are no lines. I guess it's true. Did you just come back, Candy? I know you were on vacation for a little bit. Were you just in Disney? You can let us know.
She was at the beach, I'll tell you.
Oh, she was at the beach. She wasn't at Disney, huh?
But a private beach. So she's not sick, guys. So yeah. But also another thing about Disney, about traveling period right now, our kiddos their immune systems are compromised. So it's really just not safe for them to be traveling. And they have to be about it. We have to be smart about it. And I have to say, I mean, we have the best families ever. I mean, I love all of our wish kiddos and our families. They're really amazing, and the things that they have gone through, it really puts what I go through on a daily basis, or even on a monthly basis, or a yearly basis. It just really puts things into perspective for you, because you look at them and they still have these smiles on their faces, and they don't complain about anything, and it just really makes you look at things differently.
Okay, so I seem to have lost video. There I am. Okay.
Oh, hi, Lori.
I went away there for a second. Sorry about that. Okay, so folks, you are tuning in to Bright Spots, a weekly show that highlights individuals who are doing wonderful things in the community and really shining their light. Tonight's guest is Alicia Freeman of A Special Wish, Ohio Valley, and she's going to share with us some of the things that they are doing. They are still granting wishes during this pandemic period, and still are in need of some funds to help dreams or wishes happen. So, Alicia, tell us a little bit about, you said a lot of the dreams are to go to Disney. Mm-hmm. So for folks, full disclosure, I was on the board of A Special Wish, Ohio Valley, and that's one of the ways that I know Alicia. But Alicia and I have worked on other projects together with the American Heart Association, and golly, I don't even know what else. I often talk about those people that I feel like I've known my whole life, and Alicia is one of those as well. I don't remember when we met, because I feel like we've just always been friends. So when I was on the board, there was a dream in particular that truly touched my heart, and it was the swimming pool. Could you tell the folks a little bit about that dream?
I absolutely can. So, and I can tell you who it was. I'll go by first names, and all of this is on our social media page, so if you're interested. But Jackson was, I think, 4 at the time that we granted his wish, and he is battling hemophilia. And that was one of my first wishes that I fulfilled as director, myself and the board. And the only thing that he could do as he battled hemophilia, as far as sports and being outside and just being a normal child, was to swim. So we came in touch with his family because I was creeping on Facebook and found out what was going on. So got in touch with his mom, and they decided that they wanted their big wish to be a swimming pool. And so we reached out to the local pool company here in Healing, and we were able to put in a pool. And I have to really give a shout out to some folks, because it's not just us, the board, and myself doing it on our own. We live in a wonderfully blessed community, and they are so giving. And I didn't really notice that until I took this mission. And everyone in this community is so great. So we had the pool, and then I said, well, we have to somehow fill the pool. So I reached out to Kirk Porterfield, and he got in touch with some folks, and he was able to get water to the home, so we didn't have to tap into the family's water line to fill the pool. And it just all came together, and the reveal is probably one of my favorite parts. So this is, we tried to keep it a surprise from him. So his mom put like black shades or like felt over the doors so he couldn't look outside as the pool was being installed and filled with water. He wasn't able to see any of it. And we showed up home, and he kept saying, I just want to go swimming. And it was not very warm outside. This was probably in September, and about 4 years ago. And it wasn't very warm outside at all. And when you first fill a pool, which I didn't know, the water is freezing cold. And so we were there, his family was there, his grandparents, and the media. And we opened the door, and he had no idea what was going on. And he was just like, there you are. Can we go swimming now? He was so adorable. And I was like, yeah, look what's here for you. And he just ignored everyone and said, it's a pool. And he climbs the ladder and jumps in the pool. He is so cold. His whole little mouth is shaking. I mean, but it was the most amazing thing to see the look on his face when he saw the pool, the look on his face when he got in and came up the water. It really is something that I'll never forget. We had sponsors come and help us fulfill the wish. They brought gifts for him and his sister. That's one good thing that we do, which I'll talk in the next segment, how we're different from other wish organizations. But it was truly amazing, Lori. So I'm glad you brought that up, because the reveal, it's not only when I go into the family's home and tell them that they're getting a wish. Once they get to see their wish and experience it, I mean, it's something that I can't explain. It's amazing. It really is.
I agree. It truly, truly is. Folks, you are tuning into Bright Spots, a weekly show highlighting individuals and groups who are doing incredible things to shine a light in our community. Tonight's guest is Alicia Freeman, and when we come back from our break, Alicia is going to share with us a little bit about why a Special Wish OV is different from other wish granting organizations, and we're going to talk a little more about some of the dreams or the wishes that a Special Wish has fulfilled. Stay tuned, folks. We will be right back. Welcome back to Bright Spots. Thank you for tuning in. We are so glad that you are here. I would like to just remind you that you can go to brightspotsov.com to see everything there is to know about Bright Spots, read the story behind how we started this show, and also read the bios of all of our guests that we've had on so far, as well as watch previous episodes. So if you get a moment, please check out brightspotsov.com and be sure to come back every Wednesday for another edition of Bright Spots. Please welcome back to the show our guest, Alicia Freeman of the Special Wish Foundation. We are so glad that you took time to spend with us this evening, Alicia. So we talked a little bit about what's been going on during the pandemic, and we've talked a little bit about what a Special Wish OV is. So tell us why a Special Wish OV is different from other wish granting organizations.
So the biggest difference, and I just touched on it earlier, is that we are local. So every dollar donated to our organization stays right here in the Ohio Valley to grant a wish to a child who lives right. And it's never really realized how many sick children there were right here in our own backyard. So I feel super blessed to be doing this. So that's one difference, is that the dollars stay local. Every dollar donated to us stays local. The second difference is that a lot of times when you go and grant a wish, it's really just for the child who is sick. The big difference with us is that we incorporate the entire family into the wish. It's not just about our wish kiddo. It's about the entire family, because everyone is going through something when there is a sick child involved. And we just want to make sure that everyone feels special once we step in and really become part of your family, because that's what we do. We become part of your family, whether you're having a bad day or it's your birthday or it's Christmas, which I love. We want to celebrate you and your family. So that's another difference. Another difference is that we will grant a wish at birth. Most wish granting organizations will not grant a wish until the child is 4 years old. We grant a wish at birth. When I first started the position, I heard a lot of questions people would ask me. One of those would be, well, what would a newborn want? And it's not about that for us. It's about if it's a newborn and they are very, very sick and they need a wish, we will step in and grant that wish based on what the parents think would be good. So for us, it's really about doing something special for a child and a family who is going through something terrible. So those are the three largest differences between us and another wish granting organization. But the biggest one I'd like for you to remember is that your dollars stay local.
And if you are interested in making a donation to a Special Wish Ohio Valley chapter, spwishov.org is the website, and you can go there. They also have a Facebook page. We're going to show you the website real quick here so that you can see what that looks like. And
so just some things to touch on. When it's you and ASW, that's where you would find out what we have going on, what fundraisers are coming up, what you can do to help a special wish. That's under the Get Involved tab. And then the About section tells you all about who we are, who sits on our board, what we do, and it's very simple. And there's a donate button. So I get very excited, but we have a board of 9 board members local. We also have an advisory board. So if you're interested in getting involved and you don't have a lot of time, our advisory board meets 4 times a year, and it's not even very demanding, but you do get to participate in all of the fun stuff. So that's wish reveals, that's participating in a wish, that's taking a family to the airport, whatever it might be, you still get to participate as an advisory board member. I would encourage you to follow us on Facebook. that's where we post all of our wishes. So any photos that the family would send us and allow us to post, those get posted. We try to really get it to the point where you feel like you've taken part in the family's wish, and just feel a little bit of what they felt while they were on the trip. And so I will say I love looking at photos. But, sometimes if it's only for a few moments, it's very exciting that the family can forget about the fact that there's an illness and that they're going through something horrible. So that's what really makes the photos funny. And or if the family's on the trip and they FaceTime me while they're in their con, that it's a lot of fun. And to hear the whole trip when they return, they get so excited, so tired when we're back from the airport. It's kind of like, hey, look at all these photos, and then they kind of are knocked out in the back of the limo. So, but it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
So, Alicia, I would imagine that during the pandemic, parents were challenged to keep their children focused and active. And did you hear from any of the parents that the pandemic was especially difficult for children who are struggling with an illness, or who you may have been working on a dream for that, or a wish for, that things had to kind of slow down or take a back seat? And if so, how did you deal with that? What was your advice? How did you keep them motivated and keep them headed in the right direction and inspire them to know that better days are coming?
It was because I can't, they have their immune system is compromised. So we did hear from some of the families. I did try to keep in contact with many of them. I have to give another shout out to Capes and Tiaras in Bel Air. So they did an amazing job, and they do the Princess Tea that's put on in Moundsville, the big tea. I don't know if you guys know about that, but I encourage you to look into that. But they reached out to me before everything shut down. They wanted to make our kiddos princesses, and so they were going to really the royal treatment. Yes, I went there. The royal treatment. They would get to go in first and meet every princess. Well, when this happened, they had to postpone the tea, and our wish families were having a hard time because they didn't get to go see their friends. They didn't get to go out. Some of them kind of thought again of when they were sick, and it kind of made them feel like how they had to be secluded when they were sick. So it wasn't easy, but Trisha and her team at Capes and Tiaras put together a special princess tea, I guess, for our girls at the Capes and Tiaras facility in Bel Air. So 4 little wish princesses were able to attend, and we practiced social distancing as much as we could. There were tea and cakes and all of that fun stuff, and there were fun games. The princesses were there. Our little princesses got to meet them. They received princess dresses, and the individuals who couldn't make it to that princess tea, I was able to do a porch drop for them. So they still received a gift bag. They still received their princess dress, and I did get to see them through which was nice. And the family sent photos. So we didn't get to do much, but we did do some things. I did have a wish mom reach out to me because we had a birthday, and because of everything going on, he couldn't have a party. So, she said, what can we do? We want to do a car parade. Can you help with that? So I was like, sure. So I met with the police chief in Bel Air and Chief Flanagan, and he was amazing. He made one phone call, and they just had everybody show up at the parade. It was on a Saturday, and the parade it was amazing. And we have video on our Facebook page how long the parade was. He had dispatchers from Wheeling, from Bethlehem, it was amazing, from the Cumberland Trail to Bridgeport to Martins Fair. It was amazing. So Chief Flanagan is wonderful in my book. And so those little we do. If I can't reach out to, I don't know what everyone wants. So if they reach out to us, we're definitely going to do what we can to make something special happen for them. And we like to call that in our organization a sparkle of joy. So if a child has taken their big wish, or their big wish is coming up, we want to give them a little sparkle. Or if they're having a day, or they're not feeling well, we want to give them a little sparkle. And to us, a sparkle is where we're not putting out any money. It's just something special, or a sparkle to give them, to help them in their spirits. And that's another part that I love. It's just fun. And again, that's the community. That's not me. I'll make a phone call and we'll have someone just say, yes, I'll do that. I can give you an example. Wait, do I have time to give an example?
Sure.
Okay. So we had a little girl in Steubenville, and her big wish was to go to the beach. And how the wish process works is the family we'll get in touch with the family. Someone will say there's a family that could use a wish. We will get in touch with the family. We ask the family if they'd like to move forward and see if they qualify for a wish. If they would like to do that, we send them a set of paperwork that they fill out. Once they fill out that paperwork and send it back to me completed, that allows me to reach out to their medical team. Their doctor or their medical professional, or specialist, will then say if the child qualifies for a wish. When we receive that back that says they qualify for a wish, on that set of paperwork, it'll say their top 3 wishes. We, myself and the board, look at all 3 wishes and try to see which wish we can fulfill. So this little girl in Steubenville put down her 3 wishes, and 2 of those wishes we said we can do. One was to the beach, one was to have a play set. We thought we might have some contacts in Steubenville that might help us out with a play set, thinking like a Lowe's or someone like that. Walmart would just donate the play set. We didn't even get that far because we reached out to a possible donor, and he just said, I want to do the play set and I'll donate it. He wanted to stay anonymous, and so that's what we did. Purchased the play set. Actually have the councilman, he had a business, so he and his team picked up the play set. A church in Weirton heard about us from some folks at West Banco. See how it all ties together? From some folks at West Banco, and this church got some folks together, and I apologize, it always slips my mind the name of that group, but I will definitely post it to our Facebook page because I want to give them a shout out also. But these men put together the play set for this little girl in the pouring down rain. It was freezing cold, and we said to them, we can wait till the sun comes out on a better day. No, they were like diligent and wanted to get it done for her and make sure it was perfect. And it was amazing. So that is one example of how not only did she receive a big wish, but she also received a little sparkle, which we didn't have to put a dime into because, again, community is wonderful, and we are to be where we are. It's just amazing.
I love those stories. And one of the things I was going to ask you, I believe you answered, but I'm going to ask it anyways, just so that you can reiterate it.
Okay.
If I'm watching the broadcast and I know of a child who is ill, or a family that has a child that is in need, how do they submit the name to you? What does that process look like?
Okay, so they can call us. The phone number is 740-449-2063, or they can email us at alicia@spwishov.com, or they can message us through Facebook Messenger. I get a lot that way.
What was that number again?
740-449-2063. And then some folks have several folks have reached out to me through Facebook Messenger and said that they have a potential wish or they text me. I won't give my cell phone number, but please feel free to reach out to me through Facebook Messenger also. That works. And then we'll talk about how do I reach out to the family? Would you prefer to tell them? I can give someone, whoever makes the request and says they know, I can get the to give to the family. Yeah, we can work it, whatever. That's how we will make sure we get paperwork to someone.
Okay. So, folks, we are working with Alicia Freeman of A Special Wish Ohio Valley, and this is Bright Spots, a weekly show that highlights individuals and groups that are doing amazing things to shine a light in our communities. And Jennifer Garavix made a comment a little while ago, and I didn't want to put it up until we were close to the end, but she is a new board member with A Special Wish, and this was her experience with Alicia this past week. She says, as a Special Wish board member, I had the honor of meeting with a family with Alicia just last week, and I was able to see her in action doing what she does best. In that meeting, I saw her passion and the work she does locally, and it's amazing. She is a true bright spot and a blessing to the community. I couldn't agree more, Jennifer. In so many ways, Alicia, you are truly shining a light in our community and lifting up families who are in need and children who deserve a little sparkle and deserve a little wish. And I thank you for that. So what have we not covered, my dear? Is there something else that you would like to talk about tonight with A Special Wish?
I knew you were going to ask me that. And, I don't just like to say how important it is that we continue to stay involved as a community, not just with our dollars, but also if you know someone that could use a wish. So the wish that Jennifer is referring to, the family that we met with, the sister of that family, of the mom, the sister of the mom, referred the family to us. So it's not just the family who says, oh, I'd like to have a wish. Many times it's someone that knows the family or is a family member and just, thinks, hey, they could use a wish. And please don't ever think, no, we don't need that, or no, we want someone else to have that. That often too. Again, our community is wonderful, but we are also wonderful, and we want to make sure that everyone who qualifies for a wish or deserves a wish or is going through something horrible receives a wish. Once you qualify for a wish, we go to work, and you are in our family, and do what we can to make you feel special. And if you're, again, I said it earlier, if you're having a bad day, or the child is having a bad day, or it's your birthday, we want to celebrate with you. Or if it's Easter or Christmas or Thanksgiving, or you're going back to school, whatever, we want to celebrate with you. And one thing I missed, so I do want to talk about, for those of you who know Tina at Tina's Sweet Celebrations, she is a wonderful, wonderful supporter of ours. And she came up with Tina's, so again, it's escaped my mind. I have so many things going on. But anywho, our wish children and their siblings, she bakes a cake of their choice for their birthday. So every year, if a child, if it's their birthday, and the family reaches out to Tina, we'll work with them to create a cake, an amazing cake. So a Superman cake, fidget cake, and who had her, but she's amazing. I also want to thank our sponsors because our partners, because without them, there were some things we couldn't do. So definitely Belmont Savings Bank. They've been on board with us since I approached them 4 years ago, and they don't hesitate to help us out whenever they can. They've even referred some potential wish families to us. So we thank them for that. The team at Belmont Savings is amazing. Also, the team at, it used to be Savings Bank, now it's Freeman. Also a sponsor of ours, we thank them. Hoagie's Heroes, he has been on board with us since Dr. Maddox has brought a special wish here. So Hoagie Carmichael and Amy Carmichael and the team at Hoagie's Heroes, they've donated to us every year. We're super, super thankful for them. And yeah, those are our corporate partners this year. So, and the Goodman family, they donated our office to us. So I want to thank the Goodman family. They're amazing. Without them, we wouldn't have an office. So we want to thank them for sure.
So if you are a business owner and you are tuning in to Bright Spots and you'd like to get involved, be sure and give Alicia a call or visit spwishov.org. Go and check out the Facebook page. Get in touch with Alicia, and I'm sure there's a way that your business too can be a partner with this most worthwhile organization that is doing great things in our communities. So again, this is Bright Spots. We are so glad that you have tuned in, and we love to say hello to those folks that take a moment to leave us a message. So Sherry Dunlevy, thank you for joining in. Ann Spencer, good to see you. Glad that you tuned in as well. And please take a moment and share this video. Let other people know about a Special Wish Ohio Valley chapter and what Alicia and her board of directors and the communities that they are serving. Let other folks know what they are doing to support these families and these children in our communities. I think that's really important. And
Sorry, I did want to talk briefly about some of our fundraisers that we do.
Sure.
So a lot of them have been postponed or canceled. So we are working on our next fundraiser, which is Calling and Brew. And that is set for September 16th at Chaps Bar and Grill. That's where that's right now. So again, that could change with how things are going. We're not sure yet. But as of now, again, if you go to our Facebook page, you'll be able to see all of our events. Also, we were working on our lip sync, so we are the ones who put on the lip sync the lip sync challenge. So we're in the midst of all of that, and so many of our other fundraisers have been postponed. But we will also be doing the Santa experience with Kara Sambuco at Foster Fine Prints, and so we're excited about that. So just tune in to all of the events that we have. We'll post them to the media, and we'll keep them as we possibly can with everything. So,
okay. So you can see we brought the website back up so that you could take a look at that. Go over to spwishov.org and check out what is going on there so that you can get involved. We would love that. I know Alicia would love that. And check it out, folks. I think you will love it. So, folks, you are tuning in to Bright Spots, a weekly show that highlights individuals and groups that are doing wonderful things in our community. And we're so grateful that Alicia took time to spend with us today. Alicia, thank you so much for joining us.
Lori.
I hope you'll come back again and let us know how things are going, and when you need to get some involvement, we would be happy to, get the word out for you. So be sure and keep us up to date.
I will do that. Thank you very much. Bye. Thank you for tuning in.
All right. So, folks, thank you so much for tuning into another edition. This is our 16th edition of Bright Spots. I encourage you to come back every week, and please share the Bright Spots message on your Facebook page and other social media so that folks come back and see the wonderful things that are happening in our community, in and around our community. Don't forget to check out brightspotsov.com if you want to see our previous guests and also check out what's coming up next. Take care. God bless. Have a wonderful week. And I'll see you next time on Bright Spots.